thanks again for tuning into this video. I wanted to give you an update. I know it's been a few months actually since I posted my last update, and it's not because we haven't been doing anything or we have stopped. It's just that we had a lot of work on our hands. There's been a lot of work since then, and so I'm gonna try to go as fast as I can, but this video might be a little longer than you expect, just because of the amount of work that we have been doing. With that in mind, let me tell you right now, at least for the main collection, we are done. We finished. Forgive all this clutter on the sides, but we are done. And we completed the work some time ago. And then something super cool is we work with the community to actually give access to a few of them to come into this document in Figma and actually comment on each of the icons. And because of that, the quality of the icons just got so much better. There is a lot of stuff that we could not have thought about, consistency, meaning, shapes that were wrong, so much stuff. And so I think it was a really good idea that we waited until all the icons were done, because it was much easier to see correlation between icons. And so it worked out for the best. We now have, we went through a long period of commenting on the icons that we made, and the changes are visible here. If you want to learn more about it, let me know. Send us a comment on the video, or maybe communicate with us on Matrix, and we can just give you some ideas of what we have been doing. But this is the before for the action collection. And then on the right is the after. There is still a couple of icons that need more tweaking, but for the rest of them, we consider that they are done well enough to be presented to other people. We still have to do a lot of cleanup after this. It doesn't mean we are done, but there is a lot of stuff that we should be, cleaning up in the near future. And another thing that I wanted to mention, we are currently requesting that KDE provisions an instance of PenPot, so that we can migrate all of our icons, graphical icons, into PenPot and host it on our own servers. That way we can have more control over what we're doing and prepare a design system that works for everyone. And, we can truly have an open design process. So right now it's in Figma, but as I've said, our intention is to move into PenPot as PenPot gains more functionality, easier to use. They've been doing fantastic. So we're very excited for the work that they're doing at PenPot. But for now, this was our practical solution to get things going. And as you can see, we finished. We did a lot of work in between. So I actually have dedicated a lot of time to creating new components, even though it's all messy here, but that's what we have. But we didn't stop there. Additional to this, we have other collections that need work. This collection right here, the status collection, let me just zoom in a little bit. And I'm gonna put the before and after. So there we go. That's what we have. So our icons, are more consistent. They are part of the main deal. Some of them actually, we have actually not even touched, because some of them don't seem to need any changes, and some of them we truly don't know much about what they do. So when in those cases when we don't know what the icon does, it's best to just leave it alone, because at the worst case, we don't want to leave an application without icon support. If those application makers use the icon and they want changes, they're more than welcome to ask us what to do and maybe provide a new icon. But the status collection is one that, it's repetitive. As you can see, all these icons for mobile, for network, for cloud, and there were a few of them that, they're very hard to do when it comes to language and and basically keyboard layouts. And so we got a lot of help on this one. I cannot take the credit for all of this. We had a few other designers jump in and help out, pick up on some of the work that we needed, and they've done fantastic. So I'm very proud of their work. We also updated some of the battery icons. I wouldn't say they're perfect, but I think that they're good enough for now. I'm sure that after we ask the community for feedback, that we would get some of this stuff back. Then there's a few other smaller collections that we also took care of, and just ignore whatever you see on the screen right now. But for example, for the Applet 22, we did this. So we changed from the car icon, the volume for the phone, and the speaker system, and then the smart speaker, so portable speakers. So we've updated some of these shapes. As you can tell, that they're pretty old. Then we have the apps icons, even though this one, it needs just one more change, but it's also there. In this one, we also got a lot of help from other designers in the community, which I'm so happy for. So if anybody wants to keep participating, you're welcome to join this effort. So you can see, the before and then the after. And the shapes are, one decision that we made recently is that these collections, even though they have color, we prefer that the application makers or that the system gives them a different color if that's what they need. But the base of the icon will stay monochrome, because this is the most workable stage that they're in. And so you will see that we transition in the smaller collections, we transition from color to monochrome. And that's the main reason. Because at the same time, if we were to put color in the icons at the base, then those developers would have to do kind of a transformation into the new color that the application needs. And that feels kind of wonky, and it feels a little bit hacky. And instead, what we want to do is just provide a simple, consistent base of color, and then application makers can do the rest. Then we looked into the devices collection. As you can see, we also made a few changes. We standardized all the shapes. There were a few of the shapes here that we had to redo because they were not consistent. But others were kind of an easy copy paste because we had already built those shapes in the actions collection, which is so cool. It makes us go so much faster. Then we took a look at the emblems, and we went from this, big color, black and white, into non-filled icons. We feel like that seems leaner, especially with our new style where we have thicker lines in our icons. And that might actually be a little too much if you have to do filled styles. We still use filled styles, but not as much as before. And we see that, the effects of it are quite simple and quite nice, and they can combine a little bit easier with other stuff. The emotes we haven't touched. So we're keeping it likely the same. We just have to probably adjust the sizes to make sure that they meet a 24 pixel grid. But we're not going to touch it very much. And then comes this one is the one that I'm currently working on with Mime types. As you can see, we had heavy use of color. And the problem with this is that, in user experience, it's not recommended that you use color alone to represent different states. And the reason for that is because not everyone can see the same colors. And so there is an accessibility branch of that comment there where we want to make sure that people can easily recognize the differences. For example, in our current collection, if you look in a few areas here, for example, we have these video file Mime types, and the only difference between them is the color. So how would you know that one is AVF versus MMW or versus Matroska, whatever the file format may be? So there are some ways that we have tried to do this, and it may need more consistency, but I think we are working on it in a good way. where we have, we're starting to use document with letterings so that you know what kind of MIME type you're using. You see these ones right here that are zip file, they're compressed file types. They will likely inherit some of this written script to show the differences between them. Same for the music icons. Anyway, we're still working on it. And as you can see, we still have some to change. We have the standard drive icon now, so we can actually do the same there. And part of my work has been to basically do the replacements. And whenever the replacements are done, then I have to do a second pass where I have to basically make the icon look what it should look like and tell the user what kind of MIME type it is. So stay tuned for that. And that means basically writing with vectors. And that's really hard. I will say this. In fact, actually, I'm making myself a lot of little components here for the letters, because rewriting these letters every time is just really difficult. So I'm just using the ones that I've already made. And we're going from there. So it's looking good so far. There's a lot more work to be done, and not everything is perfect here. So just FYI. Then there are a couple more. There's one more collection. This places we haven't touched yet. We haven't worked on it yet. It's not that many icons, and most of them we already have. So I don't expect it to be a ton of work. And then today I have been working on doing the preferences, and you may recognize these icons. These icons appear in the system settings for the most part. And so what you want to know about this is that we're experimenting here. So we know that having a 22 pixel icon as your icon for the row in a list, for example, like the sidebar in system settings, can be quite small and hard to make out what it is. Especially if you take a look here, and you're very critical of what you see, a lot of them look very much the same. And the differences between them are not too strong. So with that in mind, I think we can take advantage of the work that we're doing using monochrome icons and draw stronger differences between them. And sidebars with monochrome icons is something that is done every day. They look really good. A lot of systems do this. And it seems more clear to customers, to users. So one of the things that I noticed is that a lot of these icons actually we already have. And all we have to do is just adapt to some of them. And again, this is a first pass. These sections here have not been reviewed by the community. And so we may receive more comments around what things should be like. And we're going to be attentive to those pieces of feedback. But so far, I think I'm drawing a difference between what desktop looks like versus what the screen looks like. A few icons that we already have. Anyway, it's turning out pretty cool, and I can't wait to see this on a sidebar on system settings one day and see how much of a difference it makes. But that's your update for this week. We're still working on a few things, and this is a little one that we need to work on, which is basically we need transportation icons. We don't have these all of these, so we're going to be making those. Those would be new for Breeze and for this new effort with icons. So we're not there yet, but we still have a few icons to make. If you have suggestions, ideas, thoughts, if you're an artist, if you're a vector artist and you want to join this effort, comment and let us know. We're happy to have more people join, especially as we go into Academy, where most of this work is going to be presented to the community. After that, we fully expect to get a lot of comments for feedback, things that we need to change. And for that, we will need more designers that can jump in, and if they can volunteer some time, come in, help us out. We definitely need it. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.